Hello. So I'm Keri Kukral. I founded Raw Science TV, and I'm here to talk to you about the future of science. The future of science is actually the story. Can somebody? Okay. So the future of science is how we tell the story of science and how we inspire young people to care about it and to participate in our future. So obviously, perfect, thank you. Okay. Okay. So we're here at the World's Fair, and people may not know that there's a pretty massive story that is over 100 years old and still in the making right now that involves science. In 1883 at the Chicago World's Fair, there was the greatest epic battle going on of all time, and it was between Edison and Tesla in terms of who would be lighting up the World Fair with energy for the first time. Who would light the fair would soon light the world. And this was pretty much an epic battle between direct and alternating current. Ultimately, Tesla won this battle. Edison was backed by JP Morgan. Tesla was backed by Westinghouse. And Tesla won and was able to light the fair in Chicago. And 27 million people saw this at one time. And the world was not the same since, and we know we live in a world of alternating current in the United States. The funny thing, though, is this was a forgotten story. And I know it was a forgotten story because over 10 years ago, I was really starting to get into science media and was kind of obsessed with radio astronomy and how we communicate and all the technical history of that. And so in 2006, I came here to New York City looking for a hotel room to videotape an interview with the Vatican, nonetheless, about radio astronomy. And I was searching for hotel rooms, and I saw one when Google was just starting to have image search. And I found a nice room, and I rented the room and was going to conduct an interview. And it just so happens that was the very room that Nikola Tesla lived and died at the end of his days. So lo and behold, the person I was speaking with to rent this room was the secretary of Tesla Memorial Society. And back in that day, people didn't really think about Tesla on a day-to-day basis. So I ended up interviewing this person instead. And it was pretty amazing because you could be sitting there in this room where Tesla actually died pretty much penniless and alone, designing the weapon to end all weapons, a laser death ray, as we like to call it. And it was pretty surreal to see the entire city of New York lit up in the background of this room out the hotel window. But largely, this story was not part of our popular culture and not part of the consciousness of people. That is until 2008 when Elon Musk released the Tesla Roadster. Tesla inspired that man, and obviously I won't go into detail about the many ways in which he's changed the world and the landscape of energy today. But if it weren't for Elon Musk in 2008, with Tesla and the Roadster, and now with Solar City, we would not be where we are today in many respects in terms of the progress of energy. And we also now have people to focus on in terms of the story of science and how it is related to others. So now we have clear heroes in the science journey. And the arc of the real story is not about an individual person, but it is about science. So if you think about it, for over 100 years, this story has been in development. And the real arc of that story is the story of energy. And we have now a future with energy that kids know about and they celebrate. Back in my youth, the way that documentaries were created and the way that science was communicated was in the deep of the heart of the jungle animal narrations on TV. So hopefully some of you are young enough that you did not experience that as your mode of storytelling in science, but that is essentially how it used to be. And so I believe that the future of science is reaching all of the brains in the world, not just in the United States, but around the world, to inspire them in a new way. So one of the ways that I'm doing that is by bringing back, by creating a science film festival that will celebrate the media and the scientists just as much as any athlete or actor that we currently celebrate in our culture. Oops, we don't have audio. So it looks like we lost audio on that, but this is the festival. In 2018, it's eligible to be a qualifier for the Academy Awards, so that we'll continue to keep the story on the highest stage in science media. Last year, just as an example, one of the films that's being played in this clip is the first story on modern astronautics in Russia. Amazingly, they have not had a film about that. And so cosmonauts and the Yuri Gagarin Training Center consulted to make the first film. So it's progressing in a lot of areas in the world in terms of how we tell our story and who we're reaching with it. So the future of science is to tell all the brains. And as we know, it's a game of probability as far as where the new discoveries are coming from and where the new advancements are happening. And Steve Jobs is yet another mythical story that we all know as far as the computer goes. But the really important aspects of what Steve Jobs did is combine art and science. So we hear in hashtags all the time, hashtag STEM, hashtag STEAM. STEAM being incorporating art into science. No one did this better than Steve Jobs in our lifetime currently in his transformation of the personal computer, which used to only be accessible to large corporations and scientists. And now through user interfaces and bringing art into the equation, we can now reach more people. It's the young, the old, scientists, engineers, designers, artists, all use the personal computer to enhance their power and to progress the narrative that we're telling. So the real importance is that intersection. We talk about the future of science. The future of science is that intersection of art and technology, because we have a much greater ability to reach people, to connect with people, to inspire them to be part of the story themselves, which is what we need to do for the future. And Steve Jobs, in his famous last speech at Apple, he emphasized that technology alone is not enough. It's technology married with the liberal arts and married with humanities that makes our hearts sing. So that is my very brief overview of the future of science. We need to incorporate art. We need to tell our stories better. We need to reach more people. Instead of keeping these fields separate, where it's art and science, it should be art and science, never art or science. And that will inspire the generations to come. So that's the synopsis for the future of science. If you want to see rawsciencefilmfestival.tv is where our film festival is located. It'll be in Santa Barbara, California this January for our 4th annual, and we invite you to be part of the future of science and how you tell that story. Thank you.